When it comes to the terminology of prepping and preparedness, also you could say survival, or survivalism, uh, minimalism. Um, these are all terms here that when I think of, when me personally, for prepping from my point of view, okay, if you're already established and you have a lot of money, prepping may be buying a homestead, building a bunker, getting a cache of supplies, survival supplies. But when you're working with minimal dollar, it's more or less, you got to think of it this way. It's kind of like a medicine bag around your neck. It's this little bag. All you can fit into it is a little tiny piece of rock or a little bit of bark or a little bit of plant material. But you got that reference, like if you had a particular bark in there and you looked at it and it was a particular kind of a tree with a particular kind of effect, you would have that identifier, key identifier there. So even if you were jumped, shanghaied, sent on a ship to a distant place, in a way you're bringing all your knowledge from your medicine bag with you, because that's how small it is. It's only what you can carry. What you can carry up here and in here is what is more important than what's actually in your bug out sack. Actually, if you're running away from foot soldiers and horsemen, to have a backpack on actually might get you caught. You might actually have to throw it overboard like Jonah. And wherever you get, no, there'll be more supplies there when you get there. That's kind of the whole concept of the koinonia. That's why Jesus was like, neither take 2 shoes or 2 bags or 2 cloaks. Just take what's on your back and don't take a bunch of extra money in your pocket. Because when you get to the next place where you're going, the Christians that are there are already going to look out for you. And whatever you need, you can borrow from them and give it back to them on your way out of town. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole system of this. I mean, okay. Okay, like, listen. I know Kung Fu, okay? As far as, like, getting in a fight in a hand-to-hand, I got the upper hand. And therefore, I've prepped in that department. I've done all the research on like different types of plants, different type of forageables, or different techniques like cutting sinews out of a deer leg and smashing it down into little fibers that you can make for cordage or bowstring or whatever. For clothing, there's a bunch of different ways you could use it. Um, you know, and it just, look, getting out there and practicing. Like, I've had 10,000 campfires, dude, where it's ridiculous and redundant. You know what I'm saying? And because you got to think of it this way. What if you are escorted at gunpoint away from all your earthly possessions, and basically you're naked, okay? That's naked prepping, which means it's all up in here and in here. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've read read a lot of books. You know what I'm saying? I've also done all my research on stuff like watching. I know all kinds of bushcrafting techniques. I hunt morel mushrooms every year, and stemming off of my morel hunting, I'm getting hiking in there. I'm getting all this on hands experiential seasonal training, because even when it's not morel season, everywhere I go, I'm still surveying the land and then taking notes, and I know the actual all the patches of woods around the entire county. Okay, for instance, uh, basically, it's like I also know where you can find like different stuff like sap, bark, different kinds of stones, like trash heaps. Uh, I've been experimenting on making ceramics. I've been experimenting on trying to be able to cast metal from just straight up scratch, dude. I mean, old school method mixed with the new school methods. You know what I'm saying? Just hybridized or learning old skills and techniques. And even just like, even if I'm not a master, just the fact that I know it can be done and I've researched enough, I could almost figure it out if I just had enough experiments. Like how to make a charcoal water filter, gravel and sand, freaking. So these type of things build your self-reliance. And so it increases your chances of survival in any environment because you adapt and overcome. You modify. You think like MacGyver. You think like the natives. I read that in an army survival field manual. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, these are the type of things that you can prep in advance, which means by staying diligent to your studies. Like, I got a book on backyard pharmacy, but guess what's in that military field survival manual? Learn how to recognize certain plants and what their uses are. You know what I'm saying? Prepped up. Uh, like understanding, basic first aid. You know what I'm saying? I, you know, like learning, like just keep experimenting. Look, dabbling a little bit of everything. I practice shooting the bow, so I mean, I could anytime convert that into hunting, and basically, if you can do basic hunting and foraging, your chances of survival, no matter where you're at, go up. So basically, it's just basically learning about things, learning of things, and then next is actually practicing them, even in baby steps. Like start off with something like, look, anybody can start learning medicinal plants. Like there's just two of them, so simple. Dandelion. Dandelion is an edible. You can also make a tea out of it, and it has antifungal, antimicrobial, antibacterial, and heavy amounts of antioxidants, and it's good for digestion. It increases digestive enzymes, and that's an internal herb. You know what I'm saying? An external herb, plantain, that's basically a wound herb. Like if you're bleeding and you're cut open, you could actually chew that up or smash it up in a mortar and pestle or some other method. Maybe put it in a little bit of water and then heat it up in the microwave so it gets hot and smashed up easy, and stuff that on your cut. Either way, it'll stop the bleeding, and it's got antiseptic properties, antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, freaking compounds in it. So easy. So, I mean, I'm way more uh, farther along than that now. For instance, look, Chinese gunpowder. I mean, look, never made it, but I know the old ancient recipe, and it really it really de-industrializes things where you're so dependent on corporations to provide you with goods and goods. You know what I'm saying? For your labor, because you have to labor to make the money to buy their goods. So I mean, or you could labor for yourself from scratch and get it all. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter where you're at, because you don't have to. I don't have to carry 10,000 pounds of clay all around the world with me to make a clay forge